Hi, I'm Vince with Mind's Eye.
And I'm Jack.
And we're hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? Rob here from Front Row Live Entertainment. I'm hanging out here in the studio with Mind's Eye. I'm excited to be talking to you guys. It's been a quite busy year for you guys. I feel like there's been so much happening for the band, both like musically, but also the fan base continues to build and grow. What has been like a favorite moment that you guys have had this year?
Good question. Probably my favorite moment is, I think I actually want to say Viva Pomona.
Yeah.
I think like it's like a tie between the El Rey LA El Rey show and Viva Pomona. I just think Viva Pomona was like the perfect like representation of the community and the fan base. Like we felt very welcomed and a part of the culture, and I think that's my favorite moment. I don't know if you have a different one.
Honestly, the El Rey is definitely like top tier for me. That was a crazy moment where like you see the curtains open and there's like, you know,
a sold out show,
hundreds of people in the room, and like I like saw my friends in the back like working their way through the crowd, and it was like just wild, like seeing the crowd move and watching Vince jump into the pit, and it was like I was actually scared for him for the first time, and I was like, can he keep going in the pit anymore, like in LA? Like
I'm never gonna stop. You can't stop me. But no, I could not. It was the only show that I physically could not get. I go in the pit, I'll like open up a circle pit, then I go in and then I make everybody run in on me.
Oh shit.
And
You're that guy.
I am. I gotta be. And this was the first time I couldn't get myself back on stage. So
man,
it was. But that's what you want.
Yeah.
You know, you want them to be riled up.
Yeah, exactly. With how things have been going as far as like these shows, they're selling out, the tour selling out. How does that impact your music, your creative process? Just because now you're experiencing bigger venues, fuller shows, like there's no echoes because it's like, you know, there's spaces in the venue that don't have people standing there, right? Like, so I feel like it changes the experience of your performance, but when you go into the studio, how does that impact your creative process?
I feel like it doesn't impact it a crazy amount. I feel like we're still, the only thing it's impacting is our amount of resources for us to effectively do like work in the studio, and I feel like we have it streamlined. But the only thing I would say maybe it affects creative wise is like because we're much more amped up live than we are on the record.
Yeah.
Like on the record it's very like and then live it's like you know. But I think it's like it's just kind of like we are like, this song would be kind of fun live, or like it's just in our minds like the live kind of vibe. And so I feel like with the new stuff we want to come out with, it's like kind of a mix between that live, like what we've done before on records, and kind of like the live. I don't know.
yeah, there's a lot. There's definitely a lot more
energy.
Yeah,
a lot more energy pulling through.
Yeah,
and this like new stuff that we're working on, which is feeling a lot more inspired by our live show, and we've been like jamming out our songs more and working that way, which has been fun.
Yeah, I love listening to when bands, you know, from start to when they start to get this like kind of hype and things just start to happen. Like I always love learning what those challenges are to get to that point, right? So like for you guys from start to now, what has been that biggest challenge or obstacle that you felt that you've been facing or you faced, and then how did you overcome it?
Honestly, finances are like the biggest one for like an indie band. Like is like it's hard to like afford things, and like playing shows and like having those fans and selling merch is like the best way to get over that. And like building that fan base, like to be able to like do the records we want to do and like plan how we want to plan and play the shows we're wanting to play. So it's really just like, you know, it's a big fan thing, and like how we got over it is just by building our audience and playing more shows and like growing. But it really is like nothing that we can decide. It's just like,
That's just part of the
the
whole
algorithm,
experience, yeah.
working for us, and the fans liking our music. And
Yeah.
that's how we can get over that. But yeah, definitely that one. That's
Yeah.
what I think are the challenges. And
Yeah.
definitely. Do you have anything on that?
It's been, I don't know. I'm chilling. No, I mean, no, it's definitely been difficult. I think, yeah, it's honestly just finances and the fact that we're all trying to manage our normal lives
Mm.
and like jobs and like getting income, because we like most of us live in LA.
Yeah.
So rent has been a challenge. Mental health, therapy's expensive. So, just
The works.
regular everyday issues that a typical and probably our fan base all have.
Yeah.
But also we just need money to make music. So yeah.
Now, you guys also come from like doing house shows to now you're doing these venues as well. Like, so when you have shows or when you start off doing like these house shows, garage shows, you name it, and then you go on to these venues, how do you feel that those shows impacted you or helped you to put on a better stage show once there's like a full production there in front of you?
I feel like it helped doing a house show. I feel like that's where we came from and that's why we have the energy we have on stage. So I feel like a lot of times in house shows, like it doesn't really matter the band sometimes. Like any local band, like people are there to see a show and to have fun and to be in a pit and to be covered in some piss beer, But so they were already rowdy, and then I think coming into the venues sometimes there's very like music. More people
Yeah,
like
it's more professional.
yeah. It's
I
like
guess.
let me judge this opening band while I wait for Hockey Dad to come on. And I think it's fun because it's kind of a challenge. Like you're like, oh, how do we make them rowdy? But I think that's where I think the house shows impacted like our sense of community and our sense of like, let's go crazy.
Yeah.
So I think it kind of shaped that. But it is kind of rattling playing big venues. Like El Rey was super, like holy shit, we're like a band. Like I'm like this. I'm like I walked in and I'm like, $18 water. This is a real show.
We're on a new bracket.
This is a real LA show. So yeah, it's kind of like when you're watching a show, like when you're playing a show at a place that you would buy tickets to see one of your favorite bands. It's kind of like, this is bizarre as hell.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you have.
No.
Okay, fair enough.
I agree with everything you're saying.
When it comes to the stage, you mentioned you jump out to the crowd and do the mosh pits as well. But like as the stages get bigger or they fluctuate, how do you guys use up that extra space? Do you guys feel more comfortable the bigger the stage is, or do you feel more comfortable the smaller the stage is?
Every time there's a smaller stage, I become like a prima donna. Like, no, this won't work. This is too small. There's no room.
I'll be outside.
I also hate when it's a small stage and we're all lined up next to each other and we look like Freddy Fazbear. Like we all look like stage animatronics. Like, cause it's just like, but no, I love a big stage. Like, the more room you have, the more places to move around.
Yeah.
I feel like the El Rey was such a big stage. I was like, at times I was like, well, where should I go? I guess I'll go over here. I also hate a barricade.
Yeah.
I hate the barricades. That's another thing that I'm like.
That's something that's gonna start to happen.
I know. Yeah, I have to get used to it. I gotta utilize it because sometimes I feel like when I played like my show with I think it was at the Brooklyn Bowl or something. There was like a barricade and a wireless mic. Having a wireless mic, I hate because I feel like I'm always holding.
You're ready to like toss it.
Yeah, and then I have the wireless mic, and then it's like, what do I do with this hand? Yeah, but no, I would go to the barricade too much. Like it's like
Started
it's
to
a
be
little
a crutch.
exciting, and then I'm like, I guess I'll get back on stage. But yeah, no, I hate barricades. What was the question?
You pretty much answered
Okay,
it.
cool.
I love that you guys just released a live album with Audio Tree. I'm curious, when you came together to kind of figure out what tracks you were going to release on this, what was it about these tracks that felt important to do this live version for? And what was it like kind of revisiting these songs to technically record again?
I feel like our technique when we're doing like short things is we always just say all killer no filler, and we just
Nice.
try to like do our bangers and the songs that we think like go super hard live. And I think our thing that we were trying to do is like get across our live personality because
Mm.
it's not on our recorded stuff previously. And everyone that sees us live or like had seen us live as we were like growing was like, I was not expecting that show because it was like, it's so much more amped up than our recordings. And like, you'll hear the recorded version of a song and it's like so soft compared to the live version.
Mm.
So we were just kind of going based off of like what our bangers are to us, like
Yeah.
live, like in the energy, like what brings that cool heavy thing that we do live like to the crowd. So I guess that was the decision making process, was just like, you know, what songs are going to sound the coolest. And I remember we had a set list that had some softer songs in it and we just were like, no, let's get rid of them and make it like our live set. So that's the technique behind it for sure. It's just
Yeah.
going for the all killer no filler.
Did you guys change it up at all as far as like maybe try doing certain songs a different way, like changing the bridges up a little bit or like the guitars or?
Yeah, we changed up our song "Running to Find You" on all platforms. But no, we changed it because it was kind of like, man, this shit is boring as hell live. Yeah, because like, well, like we made it like a little more like we changed like I think it was like what the drum pattern in the chorus, and we made it like more
Everything was
distorted.
The
Yeah,
whole song is distorted,
Mm.
and now it's like one of my favorite songs to play live. Before it was like such a drag. It was like it's it's a good song, but it just live it was kind of like, oh, I'm so sleepy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you feel that when you're in the studio or when you listen to the tracks, it's completely different than the live shows? Is this something that you guys do on purpose to kind of like have more impact in the live shows? Like what is the process behind that?
Yeah, I feel like we just want to make it hit. I feel like what changed made it. I mean, we've always been kind of like going for big energy, but I
Mm.
feel like what kind of changed a lot for us is when we opened up for Fiddler, and then we were like, we saw the way their crowd behaved, and there was like a huge pit throwing beers, shoes on the ceiling. Uh, but like, yeah, and we're like, damn, this is sick, and they're like so much loud, and we're like, we got to get new pedals. We got to get new
But,
pedals.
yeah.
We literally
Everything
went
changed up, the whole equipment. Like,
Yeah.
just-
We went out the next day and bought new guitar pedals because we wanted our tones to be like dirtier and more disgusting to like match the energy of their show, because we just like had to catch up.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it
Yeah.
was just one of those things.
Yeah, we were like, this is not. It was because of the Vegas show. I know it was like, this is not. And then we played Phoenix, and it felt better, like with the new pedals.
Yeah.
dang.
But yeah, I mean, it is intentional, kind of making the live sound kind of bigger.
Mm.
But I feel like it's hard to capture, like the live. What makes our live show different too is I think like crowd interaction, because we really try to make our crowd part of it, like part of the show. Like I'll interact with fans and make fun of them and tell them that they're never gonna find love and stuff like that. Like your ex is never gonna come back. But I think there's a sense of community that's fun, and we like to include people. Like we don't want to make it feel like we like to break the barrier of,
Yeah.
which is why I don't like barricades. The barrier of like, we're up here and we're an artist and you're down there and you're the fan. Like we just all like music, you know? So I think that's kind of a big part of our live show too.
When you guys are creating your music, like what did you feel, or even starting when you guys first formed and started to create your songs, what was it about these guitar tones that you have that you felt were Mind's Eye sound?
I feel like we've always gone for what sounds shitty.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I think it really started with like Kelly's guitar tone.
Yeah.
When Kelly would send us demos, Kelly's guitar was completely broken. Some of the tuning pegs couldn't even twist.
Damn.
So their guitar was just out of tune. And it sounded cool. Like just the DI plugin with like the distortion simulator that they put on it. And it was just kind of something that we wanted to like keep emulating, like that bad guitar tone. And now like RIP, that guitar literally doesn't work anymore, but it kind of like kept like a cool Mind's Eye tone. And then for Drew, his guitar tone comes from just being like a shoegaze boy, and he just loves putting on his like fun glossy pedals that
Yeah.
sound pretty and shit. So it's just kind of like that fun distorted shitty sound with a cool shoegazy thing that we're always going for.
Yeah. And then how do those tones influence you guys when you guys are recording your instruments or even vocals?
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I feel like it's something that we're always like definitely looking at other artists too, and like other tones from other artists and referencing like little things when we're in the studio. I also think when we're going dirty, we try to like go for the most disgusting sounding thing ever. Like I know we all really like Mannequin Pussy, and we're always referencing their like guitar tones off their latest album because
Yeah.
it's just so disgusting and cool sounding and hits so hard, and like we want our stuff to be hitting like that.
Yeah, I love Mannequin Pussy. I also really like the band.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just had to say it on camera. I always make that joke, but it needs to be documented.
Love it. I love it.
But yeah, no, yeah, we're always like, we really like Mannequin Pussy. No, I'm just kidding. And like Slow Pulp and Sweet Pill, and we're trying to, push ourselves a little. We're like, I feel like we're right now. Mind's Eye is very like we're cute, like oh it's cute, Mind's Eye, Mind's Eye, and I feel like we want to be a little more like Mind's Eye, Like I feel like we're growing up now, so we're kind of dirtier and we're naughty.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's more of a sassier sound now, but
Yeah.
I feel like we always the tones are important to conveying that too. Because if it was all clean and no pedals, we would not be sitting here.
Yeah.
Shit would sound like ass.
You're mentioning a new era, basically, of music, of material that you guys are working on. For you vocally, like how have you kind of evolved as a vocalist with this new music?
Bro, I feel like a lot. Like I feel like I used to sing. I was actually listening to some old stuff recently, and I was like, used to sing so soft. Like I sang more monotone and soft, and I
Yeah.
feel like because of doing like tours and singing more, like, and because of the live shows more amped up, and because I'm influenced by the dirtier tones, I feel like I end up singing louder, and it's more. And I feel like now, out of doing it so often, my voice has been a little more trained to where I can do a little bit more. I'm a little more confident in my vocals. Before, like when we were starting out, I was like, oh, I'm not a singer. I always felt like I wasn't a singer, like I'm just a guy that makes the noise on the song, but I feel like now I'm able to sing project a little more and like do kind of like raspier stuff and like more shouty stuff, and I don't know. I just feel like it comes with like, and honestly, it's all a reflection of the live show because that's how I've always really sang live. And I would say it's a stylistic choice, but it's like I can't hear myself and I have to sing loud is where it started. But then sometimes it sounded cool.
Yeah.
So we're just like, yeah, let's do that. That was kind of sick.
Do you feel like that's impacted the lyrics or the way that you write the music now?
Maybe a little bit. Because I'm like, oh, maybe I'll get a little louder in this chorus. But I wouldn't say to the degree where it's changing our style of writing. I don't think we're writing, like, all of a sudden we're writing, like, metal songs. Because we're like, we want to scream. But I think it influences us a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Currently, aside from the album, your most recent single is Wishing for Me. Talk to me about that creative process of this one, and is this part of that new direction of music that you're talking about, or is this like a one-off kind of taste?
I would say the process of making that song is the perfect example of when we realize this is not how we should be making music. Like not creatively, but like the process of getting us all together. Like that was probably the song that was like we did the worst. Like it was like here.
We like so. Our process in the past has been like kind of like a computer demo thing where like we're sending stems to each other. Someone comes to our studio, like whether it's Drew or Kelly or Vince, and like we'll just have sessions all separately recording, and like that's just not the move. And how we were doing it before was like all separate, so we weren't really collaborating together. We were collaborating separately, like and individually. And that was like the last time we did that. So that's the first song that we kind of just completely self-produced. Um, and then just like had mixed for us, and that was like kind of the last one that we're gonna do like that. And our new style that we're going for is all of us in the studio all the time,
Yeah.
every time we're making music.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more collaborative. We're always shooting out ideas, and then we're just coming out with a product that we like a lot more, because every song that we like the most is the song that we all jammed together
Mm.
and we made together, and we all feel like an equal creative piece in, rather than it just being like someone's demo and then someone records a guitar on it and someone records a bass on it, and we're just like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. And it always is cool. They're great songs, but they don't.
But the chemistry's not there
Yeah.
as much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like important for us to like to work for it, you know,
Yeah.
because in the studio, especially, we worked with like Eric Palmquist, producer,
Nice.
and he like working with him. I think was like, yeah, this is how I want to make music, because it's difficult. Like you have someone that's challenging you more and
Mm.
questioning why that lyric, or
Yeah.
it should be maybe something like this, and like I feel like it pushed us all as musicians to be like we work together to really earn it, and I
Mm.
feel like that is a huge part of making it sound like us, instead of like, yeah, like at layering on top of somebody's home recording, you
Yeah.
know.
How has Eric allowed you to step out of comfort zone with these new recordings?
So much. Yeah, like cuz I'll come with a demo that I wrote and we'll like pick it apart, completely remake it pretty much. And that to me is like,
Is that a hit to the ego?
it's well, it's like I can't handle it. Like I'm like, oh no, I really like that. It's like I'm watching him. Like I'm like, hey, dude, look at this action figure.
Did you even
I
listen
really
to the
like.
song?
And then he's like, that's cool. And he rips the head off, and he starts chewing on the torso. And I'm like, oh, sick, man. And then he puts it back together, and it's like cooler, you know. But it's like demo-itis, you know.
Yeah.
I make it, I hear it a bunch of times, and I'm like, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
And then it changes, and I'm like, oh, is that, you know? But I mean, I think now I'm better at it. Like I've been able to kill my darlings, and like ultimately I know that it is better. I just know that I'm gonna be like a little bitch about it for a
Yeah.
little bit. You know, I'm gonna be like, oh, this is all. Is it even good anymore? And then I'm like, yeah, no, it's fire.
Should you even come to the studio sessions when that happens? Like for those 2-3 days? Wait
Yeah.
till it's done.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna head out for a while. Just walk into the forest and think about it. No, yeah, like I don't know. He really allowed us to come out of our comfort zone, and I feel like he made me a better lyric writer too,
Mm.
because he's always like, "What gets you to this part of the story?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. I was just saying cool words." But now there's a
Like,
little
there's more meaning to it.
I think there's always been like a lot of meaning, but now there's more direction and flow,
Yeah.
which I think you'll comes across.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about for you?
Kind of the same. I mean, we're all part of the lyric writing and
Yeah.
like melody thing, and it's great to have an extra person there, just kind of like challenging you constantly, and you know what we'll think is a strong melody or something, and he'll be like, yeah, but it could be better. Like, let's make something better. And like, we're never thinking that way, because we're just like, oh, it's cool. You
Yeah.
know, like,
Sometimes he's wrong though.
yeah, sometimes he's wrong,
You
but
know?
but a lot of the times he is right, and he's
Yeah.
like, and he is challenging us like lyrically and melodically to come up with better things
Yeah.
and have more purpose in all of our stuff, and also like on the music aspect. And I remember this thing that he said where we were like, you know, writing, and I know Vince is a big vibe person. Like he
Mm.
needs some cool guitar chords to be vibing a little bit. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I said to Eric once, and I was like, should we like flesh out the instrumental and maybe get the lyrics? And he said musicians are always gonna come up with cool shit to play. Like the lyrics and the melody are the most important thing. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
So it's like, and it's also the first day where, you know, because we've written songs before where we're writing lyrics, and our lyrics usually take us not long at all. And it's the first time that we've been in the studio and we have a 6 to 8 hour lyric day. And,
Damn.
and Eric will
Mhm.
be like, oh, it was a short day. It only took us 8 hours to write these lyrics.
I'm
That's
like,
pretty good.
Well, I wanted to end my life the entire day, and it's like the whole day is like he'll be like, he'll just be like say a lyric and I'm like, that's ass.
Yeah.
Or like we're
yeah.
just like all day. It's like, when are we gonna come up with the lyric?
Yeah.
And then when it hits though, you're like, oh shit,
that's the one.
fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, but oh god, it's ass.
It is. Yeah. They're like the most torturous days ever. But it like in the end, you come up with like just the best lyrics you've written.
I also feel like, to kind of go back to one of the other things you were saying, I feel like Eric also helped us in implementing our live sound.
Mm.
And I know vocally, this is actually a better example of changing our recording process to emulate the live.
Yeah.
He would like, usually he has like a vocal booth. But for me, like, it was cool being in the, like, in the whole it's like the whole room, like the
Mhm.
whole studio, away from everybody, and then he'll put on like colored lights, vibe lights, and then he like rigged the mic to kind of like, he taped it with a filter over it so that I could walk around like it was a live show.
Nice.
So I'm able to like walk around and really pretend like I'm performing when I'm singing, and I feel like you can hear the difference. So that was that's like, I feel like now I'm way more comfortable recording vocals, and it's because of Mr. Eric Palmquist. So thank you, Eric.
That's really cool though, that like you allowed yourself to open up to this new kind of way of doing things, especially, you know, with him like breaking down your lyrics and crushing every dream you've had with everything
Yeah.
that you wrote. Now moving forward, as you're like ready for this new material, like how do you feel like that's kind of like inspired the band as a whole, just because it's like it's kind of a new sound of music, or it's, I guess it has a whole new meaning now because of like the extra hard work that you guys have had.
I mean, I feel like we feel like a unit now, and I feel like with this new project we're working on that's going to come at some point, it's very like, I don't know, I feel like we did find our sound
Yeah.
a little bit. I feel like Long Nights from Wasted Affairs, our last album, is kind of like, oh, we're almost there. And then the singles are like, we're closer.
Yeah.
And then this record or something that's happening, maybe or not, is like, yeah, that's scratching my brain. That's
Yeah.
what we wanted. So I feel like it kind of like, it made us feel very, very capable of, you know, because I feel like you always go in to write music and you're like, am I going to come up with more things? Like, well, what if we're done? It's over.
This is
You
it.
know, like, I can't. I don't think we got more songs in us. And then, I mean, like 5 minutes go by and we have a new idea. So
Yeah.
it really inspired me. It made me feel like, I feel like I've always dealt with issues of not feeling like a musician because I'm just like the singer. And of course, now as I've like been like in Mind's Eye longer, I'm able to play like enough instrument to like make my own demos and stuff like that. But really working as together, and Eric pushing us, and like a producer pushing us.
Yeah.
And like I'm like, okay, we are musicians. Well, I always thought you guys were, but I was like, okay, I kind of am. I'm a musician a little bit.
Yeah.
But
It's definitely something that, I don't know. I think Eric fixed the imposter syndrome in all of us a little
Yeah.
bit, because it's just, it feels professional and intentional. And I think that's something that will kind of keep going on between us. And after this, and it was like when we had our first meeting with Eric, we talked about how we wanted to be super intentional about everything. And he's the most intentional person I've ever seen make music. It's like so intense all the time. And I think that's something that will like carry on when we're making like future records and stuff, is like the intention with all of us, and like making that music and doing all that stuff with purpose, rather than just kind of being like, it's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah.
his studio also has the best coffee of all time.
We should go there after for coffee.
Yeah, honestly, I actually would. I've been craving Eric Palmquist cup of coffee, and it's literally just Trader Joe's like coffee beans.
Damn.
But it's just when you're there, it's
He's
like,
got the touch.
it's like, oh,
He breaks it down and then puts it back together.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
that's what it is. He loves crushing things.
Well, aside from new music coming out hopefully soon, what else can fans look forward to in the next couple months from you guys?
Well, we do have a festival we're playing September 6th, which we're playing with some amazing bands, and we're really excited to do that on September 6th. The festival is called
Sonic Sound Recap.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's the one.
Cool. Yeah, we're very
Where's that
excited to
at?
play that. It's at the Terragram Ballroom.
Nice.
So very excited to do that. We might have some stuff going on later that I can't tell you about, but I don't know. Just follow the Instagram and keep your eyes peeled, man. And yeah, you know what else is there to look forward to? I don't know. Set up a day. Have a day with yourself. Why are you always
There you
waiting
go.
for
That's nice.
other people to do things? You know,
Go
take
get some
yourself
coffee.
out. Yeah, take yourself. Go ahead and PalmQuest Studios. Get yourself a cup of Trader Joe's coffee from Eric. Then I don't know. Go to like Silver Lake and buy a dirty old shirt from a thrift store, whatever you do. You sick. But yeah, I mean, mind's eyes. We're working our little asses off for you, and keep your eyes peeled. Follow the Instagram. Mind's eye sucks, and I don't know. Go touch some grass.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much for inviting me into your space. I'm excited to see what's next with you guys, and thanks so much for hanging out. You guys be sure to check
Thanks
out
for having
Mind's
us.
Eye.
Thank you.
New material's out now. Check out their Spotify. Check out upcoming shows, and thanks for watching here on Front Row Live.